Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Happy Election Day. I hope you guys got out and rocked the vote. Thank you to all of the people working the polls today. It was a very smooth process where I went to, and I appreciate you guys that were volunteering for that. Got a big night tonight. College football playoff is being revealed. Obviously, I know that you guys want to get to the presidential election, so this will probably be an hour-long show, maybe a little bit less. But we're going to get this thing cranked up. There's a lot of stuff to get through. Ryan Day met with the media. Jim Knowles met with the media. Will Howard. Good things are coming for the Buckeyes, who are now the favorite in Las Vegas to win the national championship. So no more doom and gloom, folks. We're in good shape. With that being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate you guys. Thank you again to our military members, our police officers, our people that take care of us, firefighters, paramedics. Thank you guys all for what you guys do. Again, you guys are not forgotten on Buckeye Scoop, and we appreciate you guys. We try to say that as often as possible. So thank you for that. We pay it forward with our Pay It Forward program. If you guys think that you qualify for a membership on BuckeyeScoop.com, our premium message board concierge access deal with Nevada and I, then please send us an email, buckeyescoop@gmail.com. We will evaluate it and let you in if you qualify. But again, we appreciate you guys. We signed up a ton of new members. So thank you to all that pay it forward with the super chats. Again, it's a great program. You're taking care of great people. And again, thank you all for what you guys do. From a service perspective, Nevada, big night tonight. The college football bracket is being unveiled on ESPN. I know that this is more just for fodder, just because it is we are so far out, but it is really cool. The bracketology in college football, like, I love it. I think it's going to be amazing to watch the first year. What are your thoughts? Are you nervous at all? Is Ohio State going to be any good this year?
Yeah, but it's really weird because I'm watching. They ranked the top 25 teams, and there's got to be a mistake because I can't find Michigan. Michigan hasn't been ranked. So I'm thinking they're up to like 11 at Alabama right now. So I'm thinking maybe they're having them holding them for later or something like that. Maybe they'll be in the top 5. But yeah, they had the top 25 teams, and Michigan is not in there. So I don't know what's going on. The world seems upside down right now because the Wolverines. I was told by my Wolverine friends that they were going back to back this year. That they were back to back national champions, and yeah, the college football playoff. I'm not sure if the broadcasters may not even want to broadcast it this year because Michigan's not going to be involved. I think there's going to be a lot of unhappy people with that. But no, it's fun watching this thing kind of come out. It's kind of meaningless right now because there's so much football to be played. I'm predicting that based upon this thing, I don't know how this thing works with the college football playoff brackets, but I'm assuming because the conference leaders got to be the 1 through 4, and Oregon's the conference leader. Does that put Ohio State at 5? That's got to be the way that it goes, right?
I think. I don't know. This is all kind of new to me. I don't really pay attention to it because it's like I've been a part of the process and the polls like this early in the process, and all that matters is the last one. As long as we're in the top 12, I don't care. But it'll be interesting to see if we're in the top 4, which we should be, or do we pop down to 5, which. Again, that might be the spot, as you've said, Nevada, but it's pretty exciting. They got BYU at 4, which is hilarious, but again, this part of the like you said, the conference champions.
But that's the beauty, though. If you get 5, so you'd get Boise State at home for your first playoff game, you'd miss the conference, and then you'd get BYU in the quarterfinals. That's a pretty good draw.
Oh
right
yeah,
there, man.
Oh yeah.
That would not be a bad spot to end up at all.
No. Those are 2 games. So we'd be double-digit favorites in both those games. Like 14-point favorites in both those games.
Oh yeah.
Indiana's at 9. Yeah, I think that this is going to be interesting. Again, this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be a fun stretch. It'd be interesting to see if Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon all make it. Because I think that'd be really cool. But we're going to get into all this. Nevada, how are you feeling? We're this far into the season. We got a big stretch coming up over this next month. How are you feeling so far?
Well, I'm feeling great. It was fun listening to Jim Knowles and Ryan Day and Will Howard. Get up there today and talk about their stuff. And the beat was on point as usual. There's so many great storylines, and literally. Like the first question, here was the first question of Jim Knowles. You ready, Kirk? Here's the question. Which one of the people on staff are the best dancers? like literally, that's the question that you ask when you've got Jim Knowles up there for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and you're going to talk some stupid, they try so hard to be familiar with these guys, and they don't know, these guys just can't stand them. They look at them as like they're like the scum of the earth, and they're like, which one of the staff is the best dancer after the, and it's like, oh God, please stop. But no, I thought Knowles was, it was pretty interesting, up there, talking about kind of how they realigned things after Oregon, and we had talked about that here, how they had made a conscious effort to go to adapt a more pressure scheme, and Jim Knowles explained to Ryan Day though that when you do that, there's a trade-off, and the trade-off is you may give up more explosive plays, you may give up more um, you know, big plays on the field. You may lose contain. You may become more susceptible to the quarterback run. Lots of things that there's trade-off, but they decided that that's the way that they want to go out, which is really the way that this team should play. This team plays better going forward. They have athletes. They have guys that, I mean, Cody Simon's been outstanding. I thought one of the most telling things was when they asked him about Cody Simon being left off the semifinalist for the Butkus Award, and you could tell that Knowles was pretty annoyed with that. That was really silly. And Cody's playing at an extremely high level. Clearly, the leader of the defense, the spiritual leader, the captain, the guy that makes all the calls, and the guy that's playing at a really, really high level right now. But no, I love the trend. I love the way the Buckeyes are kind of sneaking up on people right now. I love the fact that we haven't put together a complete game yet. I love the fact that we've got undefeated Indiana coming into our house here in a few weeks. Nothing that here's the thing, folks. There's no way Ohio State's not going to overlook an undefeated top 7, top 5 team coming to Columbus. It doesn't matter what the name is on the jersey, if it's Indiana or whatever it is. They're not going to get overlooked. And there's no way that Ohio State's going to be looking so forward to the Michigan, the game against Michigan, that they forget to play it against Indiana. So I think it's a great opportunity for Ohio State to take another step. Good quality opponent for them. Good opportunity for a nice quality win. And I think everything's falling. I think all the pieces are falling together at exactly the right time. And I think Ohio State's going to be peaking come playoff time, which is really where you want to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's when you see a team that's that high, that isn't traditionally that high, it's like, can they handle the pressure of being that high? We've played teams that were kind of false prophets before, like when we played Michigan State a few years ago when they had Kenneth Walker and they beat Michigan, and they were, they're pretty high in the polls, and I was just like, there's just no way. And we beat them like 60-10. And again, despite Michigan, they're playing Michigan, they're going to rout Michigan. I just think that when you have, a schedule that's that soft, I mean, that's the thing I always look at is like, how good is a team when I'm placing wagers, or I'm just studying something. I'm like, who have they beaten? What the records can be so deceiving if you've played a soft schedule and you're running through the table. And all of a sudden, I'm just telling you, like, I don't think that I think that they're going to be very good. I think they're going to be very excited, but can they handle beating a team that, I mean, when was the last time we lost Indiana in the 80s? So nobody's alive that's in the game that's seen us lose Indiana. And normally Indiana's a punching bag for us, but they've given us fits in the past. But I think that this will be a good test, and I don't think we're going to look past anybody because these guys know. Again, they've already lost the game, so they can't. And I'm not saying that they looked past Oregon, but they know that if they don't bring it, they can lose. And they've played down to the level of their competition. This is a senior-laden team, which matters. The age matters. Ohio State is at 5 versus Boise State. Yeah, that would be the dream. We would play Boise State, then BYU, then Nevada. That's the easiest bracket by far, in my opinion. Holy cow!
Well, number 5, but number 2 in the college football playoff ranking. So literally, yes, just because of the format. But so they literally got Ohio State ranked as the second team in the country. So for all the people that were ready to jump off the bridge after the 1 point loss was out, said, guys, come on, a little bit of perspective. I mean, this isn't sunshine pumping. This is just like, hey, just take a deep breath. All is not lost yet. So, but the College Football Playoff Committee is clearly valuing Ohio State's 2 road games there at Oregon, lose by a point, you could have won, should have won, and then beating Penn State. So, you couldn't ask for beating a much better spot to be in than we are right now. And frankly, I'd rather be 2 than 1. And if we end up at 5, if by some unlikely thing that's where we end up, I mean, a heck of a lot of football between now and then to get there. But no, I'm telling you, that's the sneaky meta spot for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you get the extra game and you play. I mean, again, you tell me, would you rather play Boise and then BYU, or would you rather sit for a week and then have to play Tennessee? I don't want to play Tennessee. Like, Tennessee can score. I mean, I just think that there isn't a guy on BYU's roster or a guy on Boise State's roster that we offered a scholarship to. Tennessee's got a lot of guys that we wanted. Tennessee's got legitimate, and their quarterback, when he's on, he can be real good. They beat Alabama this year. I mean, I would kill to have that path. If you said, Kirk, you're the captain and you get to pick the way, I say, well, let's play an extra game, skip the Big Ten title game versus Oregon, and let's go play Boise. I mean, I'll play Boise any day of the week over these other guys, because Boise they're very good, and they should have beaten Oregon. They had Oregon on the ropes at Outson, but they gave up a kickoff return and a punt return. But they're very one-dimensional. I mean, they've got now that dimension is maybe record-breaking with Ashton Genty running for like basically 200 yards every single week. I mean, it's comical how many rushing yards they get. But I like our matchup versus in the run game. I think that we've got a physical front. We've got good linebackers. Again, I don't want to go off the top rope too bad, but the fact that Cody Simon wasn't a Butkus Award semifinalist after how he's played and his production when he's been on the field and his leadership, and the fact that he's a senior. Like, in general, you promote the seniors for awards unless you've got a guy like Caleb Downs who should win the Thorpe Award this year. But we don't promote these guys, and this is a classic example of we don't promote them. And Ohio State's going to get somebody on the list probably. And again, something against Sonny. I think Sonny's got a lot of upside, but Cody is clearly the better linebacker. Again, I don't just buy tackles. I buy production, leadership, explosive plays like sacks. And Cody's been a difference maker, especially in the pass rush when they started blitzing him. So again, we talk about all the time how poor we are at marketing our players, and this is just another shining example of it. Nevada, do you agree on that?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I mean, Jerry Emig is the worst SID in the history of Ohio State, a guy that's an embarrassment to the program. And when you have stuff like this continue to happen, and people say, oh, what does it matter? What does it matter? People get awards. But that stuff does matter. That stuff, it matters to recruits. It matters when you go out there and, you go through the halls and you see the Remington Awards or the Outland trophies or whatever. Like, that stuff matters. It matters. That's all about marketing, man. It's all about marketing, getting your players out there, and we just don't do it. And I think it's embarrassing. The Sonny thing over Cody was really a low point for the Buckeyes because it's clear they're just not even watching the games. I mean, Cody has more tackle sacks, more tackles for loss, and he didn't play 2 games than Sonny. And so I don't have any words. And again, none of it, please don't take this as anti-Sonny Styles, man. We love the Styles family. We love Sonny. I want Sonny to be 10-year NFL All-Pro, Hall of Famer in Canton. But he's just not as good as Cody right now. And I hope maybe by the end of the year we'll laugh about that comment. Oh, Nevada, that was so silly. Look how good Sonny's. I want that to happen, man. Like, come on, Sonny. If Sonny takes his game up a level, this defense is going to go from great to historically great. So nobody's rooting harder for that to happen than me.
Yeah, and like I think that we're not promoting Tyleek enough. I would start promoting Donnie Jackson. If Donnie can hang in there at left tackle, again, he was winning performance. I wish that our graders were my MBA class graders, because I would have been the valedictorian and gotten straight A's probably if they were grading my assignments. Because again, I love Donnie, but you can't go up 2 sacks and get a winning performance. But hey, he did it, and God bless him. And again, this isn't hating. I'm just saying that was kind of the standard. Anytime I've been around coaching or playing or whatever, if you give up a sack, let alone 2 sacks. But again, he did something for the team that was very honorable, and it's something that I think he should have been a captain, in my opinion, and it was kind of ridiculous that he wasn't. But that's just, it is what it is. Donnie keeps on working along. And then he had some really good things. Ryan had some good stuff to say about Carson. And the amazing thing to me, Nevada, is if we don't lose 2 offensive tackles, we might never see Carson this year. If Zen doesn't get hurt, Carson might be mothballed, and he's whatever happened to that guy, transfer portal probably. And again, I have no info on that, but I'm saying, like, if you bury a kid who's a starter for you, it's like, I mean, how's he supposed to feel? Like, I mean, especially you can't do that to a kid who has options like Carson would have. But it took us losing Josh Simmons and Zen to put the kid on the field. And he goes out there, and his first game of the season, he has like a winning performance versus the best defensive front we've seen all year in the loudest environment we've seen all year. So again, our evaluations of offensive line talent has been terrible, and this is another shining example of some of these rotations that we've done over the last few years has been crazy. But I mean, clearly he's better than Tigra. And again, I really like Tigra, and they were handing out, player of the game, plaques like they were jujubes, so they're just handing them to everybody. So they gave them to 4 offensive linemen. They decided not to give them to Tigra. But again, like Carson should have been our starting right guard from the beginning of the season. Again, he didn't get that much better over the last 7 weeks. He's always been good. And he's a guy that started last year over Tigra at center. Tigra didn't play at all last year, and Carson was playing versus Michigan and Notre Dame and Penn State. And again, I know that there might not be a backstory. They can say that Carson got more mature or whatever, but I'm like, dude, you don't win Iron Buckeye 2 straight summers and be some immature clown. Not around Mickey Marotti, because you're not fooling Mick. You might fool your position coach or a GA or something, but you're not going to fool Mick. Mick's around you all the time. He'll see if you're soft or if you're a puss. And Carson is neither of those. Carson's tough as nails. He's smart. And like I said, I'm just happy for him. But again, the circumstance sucks because I was rooting like crazy for Zen. Obviously, Josh Simmons was playing at an All-American level. I hate that Carson only got a chance because Zen got hurt his hip, but I'm just like, guys, we almost never saw Carson. What are your thoughts on that? Because again, I can't think of a situation that's been more poorly handled or more egregiously wrong than this. Because again, if Tigra was playing at an all Big Ten level, then that'd be one thing. But Tigra's been struggling. If Tigra pulled himself out of the Oregon game, Tigra took the bye week off, and Carson's done nothing but grind. So again, we still almost didn't see him. I mean, they put Luke Montgomery in. I mean, Nevada, and you've been around Ohio State for 50 years. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, it's crazy, but I think people are making a little much of the maturity comment today. He was talking about, he was complimenting, Carson and talking about his toughness and his intelligence and his maturity. And I took that more as he's got 12 starts under his belt, and he's more of a veteran presence from that standpoint, as opposed to, taking that as like a slam that maybe he was immature. But no, you're spot on. I mean, it took a series of unfortunate events to kind of force him on the field, something that we've been calling for, and something that insiders inside the program, like Helping Technician and other guys, have been saying really loudly. They're like, we do not understand how this guy is not on the field. We do not get it. We do not. Something is just really, really amiss here. And when they went to Luke Montgomery, it went from strange to absolutely bizarre. But look, it all got worked out. And I said this before the game, and I'm going to stand by that. And this is probably going to be crazy talk. People like, Nevada, you're just making crazy talk again. I think Donnie's better suited to play tackle than he is guard. I really do. And I know he gave up 2 sacks to Carter, and I know, but it was his first time out there and stuff. But I just think the way he plays and the way he moves, and I just think he's better tackle. I think he's a better tackle. I think he's a more natural tackle than he is a guard. And as a result, I think he's really going to thrive in that position. And I think his offensive line is going to go back to where it was pre-injuries. And that's pretty lofty praise, because at that point in time, they were operating as one of the best units in the country. And I really think they can get back there with Donnie at left tackle and with Carson at left guard. I think it's kind of addition by subtraction, and maybe we backed into some sort of a winning combination there. But I really think they can get the job done.
I mean, the thing that it doesn't matter because it's irrelevant at this point, but it's like, if we would have taken Tigra out and put Carson at regular, how good would this line have been, at Oregon? Now, I know Josh got hurt, but it's just I mean, you could argue that Carson was the best lineman on the field on Saturday. I watched the tape again today, and he was not messing around. He was physical, he was tough, he was running the ball. He played like a guy who was suffocating on the sideline. He was dying on the side. And again, I've been there, man. I mean, there isn't a place in this universe that I hate more than just standing on the sideline during a football game. It's like a living hell when you're used to playing. I can't stand. I didn't when I was hurt, as miserable and angry as I've ever been when I got hurt and then I couldn't play, because I literally couldn't play. So it's I couldn't imagine what emotion was going through Carson when he finally gets to go out on the field and handle some business. And then, because again, people can say whatever they want about you. They can, say you're immature, or Tigra's better, or Austin Sourville's better, or whatever. But when you put that kind of tape out there, like your tape's all you need. You know, it's kind of like with us. Like we put our tape out and the numbers, we don't have to say anything. Look at our numbers. I mean, we run circles around everybody because of what we do and how good we are. And that's what Carson did. Like Carson literally, he got out there and he played like a menace. And again, I was so happy for that kid because I thought what was done to him was so unfair. It was almost cruel. And the kid, you know, he went out there and again, he was excited. He wasn't sulking. He didn't crap the bed. Because again, you know, there's some guys that, you know, they sit around and they cry and they moan and they complain that they're not playing. And then they get out on the field and they get ran through. Carson did the opposite. Like Carson was a force. And again, I love the direction of the program. I can't believe Ward Manuel is the CFP selection committee chair. Like, what an idiot. I mean, again, like I wonder who runs college football sometimes and how dumb some of these people are. But seriously, he's the guy that's on TV right now. Anyways, back to what I was saying about Carson. But I love the direction of this offensive line. You know, Donnie giving up 2 sacks versus Abdul Carter. Like, I put that on Chip Kelly. I don't put that on Donnie. Like, I mean, Chip Kelly's a smart guy, man. And you got to know, like, dude, if you got a guy like Donnie, first start at left tackle, loudest building in the country, best edge rusher in the country, like, you have to help him. Like, come on. You know, if we had Josh Simmons playing, I would have helped versus that guy because he's that good. I mean, you didn't even see. I mean, Josh Fryer with basically no help for most of the day completely erased the other defensive end. You didn't even hear his name. You know, so again, like when they have one werewolf on the defense, like you got to stop that guy. So again, that's why I was frustrated because I thought Chip was fantastic, but again, that was the layup, man. You gotta, you know, if you've got the weak, you know, not the weak link, but you know, you got the guy who's got to go against the hardest matchup, man. You have to help him. And there were some times where it would have been so easy to help. And again, all you got to do is put G. Scott in a wing, have him sit there for a second, and then it basically shuts Abdul Carter down, and then everything's fine. But again, we won. Again, thank God for Will Howard. Again, I rewatched it again, and people don't realize how good Will Howard is. They're going to miss him next year. I'm telling you, because he makes plays that they're not always in the stat sheet. Now, again, Nevada, what's his rating? Like 175 right now? I mean, I was looking at his numbers. I'm just like, good.
I think it's like 179 or something like that.
Why do we not have a Heisman campaign going for him right now? I mean, if we run the table and beat Oregon in the Big Ten title, like, don't you think he's got a good shot? No, I don't think he does. You know, I mean, Cam Ward might win the ACC championship.
He's not even a thought on the thing, man. It's like we just haven't even put him on the radar.
I mean, because you know we're going to run the table this month, you know, and then all you got to do is beat Oregon, who I think will beat in Indy in neutral site, and then he's sitting there, Big Ten title, and you know he lost one game by 1 to Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's amazing because I think that the kid's playing at a crazy level, and you know I feel like the only people that talk about how good Will Howard are me and you, like in the entire pantheon of Ohio State, where we're just like, this guy's really good. Like I said, I watched his film, and I'm just like, I know people, they have all these connotations about him. He can't throw the deep ball, and you know he played at Kansas State and whatever. But it's just like, you know, I think some of it comes from the fact that he wasn't a 5-star kid. So you know, I think that a lot of these 5-star kids, they get kind of a catapult as they get into college. Like, again, I think that's the reason why Sonny Styles is up for the Butkus. I think that a lot of these writers who are completely clueless, they just looked at the stats and they saw how many tackles he had, and he's a 5-star, and the defense is number 1 in the country. And okay, we'll put Sonny on the top 15 list. And again, it's nothing against Sonny. Like, I think Sonny's got a really bright future, but he's still like basically a true sophomore. You know, when you're a guy that skips high school, which again, I get why you do it because you get to the NFL a year earlier, a year younger, get to free agency a year earlier, a year younger. But I mean, it's hard, man, when you're Sonny and you go from, you know, you would have been playing, you know, 50, 60 snaps a game defensively in high school to 10 snaps a game like he did for Ohio State, maybe 15, 20, maybe some special team stuff. But you know, he didn't really play much his first year because he can't. He's a high school kid. So again, I always think that's a little bit of a, I don't say it's questionable, but it's something that I think it hinders the development of the kid. So I almost look like Sonny like he's a true sophomore, even though he's a junior of eligibility, just because he didn't really play for a whole year, basically. You know, it was kind of like Jack Sawyer when he took off the COVID year because he thought that we were going to have spring football back in when we were in Looney Tune land. But yeah, I don't know about this. Like coming down the stretch for this one, I can't help but be really excited about the team. I think that the running backs are playing at such a high level. Again, I rewatched Trey and Quinshawn, and I can't imagine. I don't know if we'll ever see a better duo of running backs the rest of our life at Ohio State. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but you know, I mean, they're both first rounders. I mean, they're both. If those guys go to the Chiefs, the last pick. They're rookie of the year rookie of the year candidates. It's like that because those guys they're so good. But Nevada, what do you think is the projection? We got Purdue, which this will be a blowout, 38-point dog. Northwestern. What game do you think will be tighter between the Indiana game and the Michigan game?
Indiana game by far. I think I think we're going to just absolutely just violate Michigan. I just want to beat Indiana by one. I don't care. Win 3-2, 7-6. Doesn't matter to me. Does not matter. Just win. Just survive. Get by. And for Ohio State, you're kind of in that enviable spot that you've got this big game coming up, but it's in Columbus, and we're very difficult to beat at home. A team like Indiana, that of course they're coming off a bye. Of course they're going to be fired up, but look, we're better than them at every single position. So that's a game you have to win. That's a game that you should win. That's a game that you'll be favored to win, and that's a game ultimately that we will win. If that game was in Bloomington, I think it could be like so many of those game before the Michigan game type of things where it's like, man, maybe it's a little bit more, a little closer than you'd like, a little bit of a nail biter, but it's in Columbus. So, I think Indiana's a great story and a well-coached little team. And, but they haven't played anything like the Buckeyes. I mean, the Buckeyes have got like the number 18 strength of schedule in the country right now. I was surprised they were going to the strength of schedule. They showed Penn State having like the 26th toughest schedule. And I'm thinking, who has Penn State played? I mean, they played us and they played USC. Have they played anybody else?
I mean, not that I know of. It's funny. They barely beat, I think, Bowling Green. I was looking at the games tonight just for betting. I mean, they beat Bowling Green by like 7, and Bowling Green's kind of interesting too because they lost to Penn State by 7. They lost to I think Texas A&M by 7, which is weird. So you played two top 10-ish type teams and you lose to both of them by 7 points. It's kind of I guess just how good they are because they're pretty decent favorites tonight in their game. All right, let's get into some super chats. We'll dig through these and get through this thing. D Sunny, appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for the 5. All right, Nevada, how hard is it to market your players for awards? Would O State just call voting members and butter the relationships? Well, and Nevada, I'll let you go first on this because you've done a lot of promotion in your life with the teams you've owned and all the different roles that you've held at major organizations. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, I mean, there's a million different ways that you can. I mean, there's the more creative ways that the famous campaigns that they've started with the Pace pancakes or the Joey Harrington billboard up in Times Square. I mean, there's a million examples of that type of stuff, but mostly it's basically just educating the particular whoever your cohort is, that your voting cohort, about what your players are doing. And there's creative ways that you could do that with highlight packages, with social media campaigns, with weekly updates, with personal call. I mean, there's a million things you do. We don't do any of it. Our department is lazy. Literally, our Jerry Emick, he spends his life trying to suck up to guys on the beat. I mean, literally, that's what he does. That they're always talking about where they're going to go to have a drink of bourbon when they're on the road. I mean, he lives for that stuff. And so player promotion is, I wouldn't even say it's secondary, it's tertiary, quaternary, whatever word you want to say for way down the list and stuff. We just don't do it. And other schools are just much better about it. They'll make individual calls to voters. They'll educate them with video updates, with highlight packages. So easy to do if you're doing it. But when you just don't do it, and he hides behind this thing about, well, we don't want to make any bigger than any individual player bigger than the team. It's just, for me, it's just an excuse for being lazy, because that's the lazy man's way. Oh, yeah, the reason I'm not doing that is because I don't want to promote an individual over the team. No, the reason you're not doing this is because you're lazy and you're bad at your job. That's why you're not doing it. And as a result, we suffer. And it's gone back for years and years. Ever since he's been here, it's been the same thing. Our guys get hosed on national awards, and it's strictly number one responsibility of the SID, squarely on him, and he just does a lousy job.
Yeah, I mean, it's got back to Joey Bosa. I mean, CJ Stroud. We had all those great receivers outside of Marvin just get snubbed for the Bolotnikoff. I mean, it was literally crazy. I mean, the amount of guys that we've had that have been star players that have just left empty-handed. Malik Hooker should have won the Thorpe the one year where he had maybe the greatest season ever for a safety. But I mean, again, like we don't really promote Caleb Downs as much as we should. Like Caleb Downs should be the favorite to win the Thorpe by a country mile, but it's just what we do. Like, I mean, Will Howard, there should be a campaign for Will Howard to win the Heisman. I mean, dude, we're going to win these next 4 games. I mean, come on. Like, we're going to lose to Indiana at home. Like, we're going to lose to this terrible Michigan team. And then if we beat Oregon, I mean, he's right in the thick of it. I mean, is Miami going to run the table? They might, but who have they played? I mean, is Cam Ward really better than Will Howard when Will Howard, if Will Howard would have beaten Oregon, which is a 1-point loss, he's the favorite right now. It's not even close. But again, we don't promote him, so we're never in the seat. And that's why, like, Steve Snap was excellent because Steve, he knew how to promote guys. I mean, he got Troy Smith, helped him get the Heisman. Obviously, you got AJ, James Laurinaitis. I mean, he was killing it when he was up. But it's just all kind of dissipated, and it's been sad because a guy like Paris Johnson to be a top 6 pick, be the best tackle in college football for a year, and not to win a single major. I mean, he didn't win Big Ten offensive lineman of the year. I mean, that's criminal. Like, I mean, again, like if we had real people running the athletic department, like back then there'd be questions would be asked. Because again, the parents notice. Why isn't my son winning any of these awards? I mean, he got drafted higher than everybody else. He went 6 overall. So again, Paris at the end of the day, he won. But like if you're Cody Simon, you want to make All Big Ten this year. Like, I mean, if you're not on the Buckeyes a watch list, I don't know how you're supposed to make All Big Ten. I mean, obviously that's kind of a snub. But that's just my opinion. Again, I know that we're right on that, but it's not hard to get creative, especially when you have I mean, Steve Stapp did it with no media team. We have 10 people making videos and flyers. And I mean, hey guys, can you make a flyer for Cody Simon to get up for the Buckeyes? Thanks. Perfect. Great. Super easy. Donnie Jackson for the Outland, whatever. Super easy. I mean, our running backs aren't going to win the Doak Walker just because the kid from Boise State is going to win everything, but you can still at least promote him for it, get him to the award ceremony, so that they get a little bit of notoriety. But again, is what it is. Black Pyro, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you, my man. Please, Kirk. Please tell me, why is Ward Manuel a part of the playoff committee? Shouldn't he be fired for his school being involved in the biggest cheating scandal in college football history? I don't know what Ward has to do to get fired, but here we are in Nevada. Nevada, are you surprised that he's the head of the college football playoff committee?
Well, I mean, he was before this thing kind of broke, and so he still is, and this thing hasn't been finally adjudicated yet. So, I mean, it's just one of those unfortunate things. The optics are bad. It's embarrassing that a guy that's kind of overseen so many scandals, but always remember when all these big scandals, there was always people. The Enron CEO was the chairman of the whatever, and up till the day that what's his name, Madoff got there, and he was the former head of the
SEC.
Yeah. I mean, so it's kind of like they're always out there until they're exposed. So he's just out there until he's going to be exposed, and when he gets exposed, it's just going to be one of those things that we just look at and kind of go, yeah, that was embarrassing. But I don't think ESPN really cares.
I mean, I've watched so many documentaries on him because Madoff was amazing because he's like, there is no possible way that you can cheat the SEC. I mean, he had all these big glowing quotes about the SEC, and in the back, he's cheating worse than anybody, I mean, in the history of the economy. I mean, it's just like, he's like, there's no way with modern technology you could ever cheat the SEC. They're so thorough and they're so good at what they do. And he's like the worst offender in the history of the country. I mean, it was, but I mean, that's Michigan. I mean, they live in that same level of delusion, and their fan base is right there. Again, like when they're, Nevada, the TV networks will not let Michigan fail. They'll have to cancel the playoffs. That was an all-timer. That's what I call that one. That's what we call that. Call that the old all-timer right there.
No. But that's what I love. Like when Yoder said that, and people like I want to have my opinion. I'm like, yeah, you can have an opinion, but if your opinion is just dumb, I'm going to say it's dumb. And that was just dumb. It's like somebody on the board today saying that the win against Penn State wasn't an elite win. Only elite wins are against SEC schools. I'm like, so our sample size now is down to 3 games over the past 20 years or whatever it is. It's like,
God.
Georgia game that we lost by 1 point, Alabama, who we got blown out in the COVID year, and Alabama, who we blew out in 2000. Those are the only games that count. Like, that's how you determine who the elite school is. Like, come on, guys. Like, I know you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm entitled to call your opinion stupid if it's stupid. So anytime you beat a top 5 team, an undefeated top 5 team on the road, that's an elite win. I don't care who it is. That's an elite win. Period. End of story.
Yeah, and I think Penn State could play with any team in the SEC, including Georgia. And Penn State's got really good players. I mean, I think that our defense gave them fits, and I think that we had an incredible scheme versus their tight end because we shut their tight end. What do you have? 20 catches versus USC, and he didn't do it. I mean, he was the focal point of our defense, was stopping him. But I think that they you got to remember, like, beating Ohio State is really hard to do, and when I said going into that game, when some of the geniuses that cover Ohio State were picking Penn State to win, I was like, you do realize you're picking James Franklin, right? Who has the weight of the world on his back because he's beat us one time on a fluky game where they blocked a field goal in 2016. Every other time we've just absolutely owned these guys. So I mean, and 2016 was a long time ago. I mean, there's nobody left in the program from 2016 still on the team outside of Mickey and Pantoni. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I mean, when you have all this data, and not to mention Ohio State just has better players and better coaches, like, I just don't know how you could come down and actually pick Penn State to win that game. Happy 2014. Thanks for the 10 rankings. These are different. OSU ranked second, is the 5th seed. Yeah, I noticed that. Obviously, it has to do with if you win the conference, you get one of the high seeds. And then I guess we're the first, like, at large, if you'd call it that or whatever. I don't know. But I appreciate that. I noticed that. Nevada, any thoughts on that? Because, again, I think you're right. I think that 5 seed that's tasty. I mean, if you tell me I get to play Boise State and BYU to go to the national championship, I'm like, I don't want to change anything. Whatever I have to do to stay at number 5, I'm there. Like, it's almost like I wish that you could pick your own seed. If you're the number 1 seed, you could pick where you played at and say, I want that 5 seed. Because that's the spot right there.
Yeah, no, it's a flaw in the system. But yeah, the top 4 seeds go to the 4 highest ranked conference champions, and Ohio State Ohio State is 2 in the playoff committee's eyes, but because virtue by the fact that Oregon is number 1, that puts them at 5. But look, a lot of football to play. I guarantee by the time the playoff rolls around, these things are going to look completely different. The only thing I took away from this is Ohio State is clearly very highly respected by the committee, by Vegas, by everybody but the OSU fan base. Ohio State is considered elite, but it's good to be a Buckeye.
Well, even like the little computer thing that they just had up there, it said highest percentage to win the championship. It was Ohio State was at, like, I don't know if they're at 17% or 27%, it was something like that. It's like they had the highest percentage out of anyone on the whole board. Yeah. But if you say that to our fan base, they're like, oh, well, that doesn't mean anything, and we better fire Jim Knowles quick, and I'm talking quick, because number 1 in the country on defense is not good enough for me. There's no chance. Lisa Shear, thanks for the 5. It's so dumb. Are you concerned that J.J. Smith will leave if he doesn't get more passes thrown to him? Don't know what kind of young man he is. Nevada, go Bucks.
Go Bucks! And I'm not looking at Heather. Heather Dinich is wearing his boots out there on the thing. That's good. That's a good look for Heather. I'm Heather. I respect that. I respect those boots.
Aggressive. Well, what are you gonna walk through?
I like it.
All of Booger's, like, all of his cow pies he's laying up there. Because I mean, when you listen to Booger, you just get it's so dumb. It's like you might as well just turn the TV off and go huff glue. Because that's how your brain feels after. It's like when they used to do that drugs commercial where it's like, this is your brain, and then they crack the egg and they'd fry it in the skillet. This is your brain on drugs. That's literally what I feel like when I listen to Booger McFarland and Greg McElroy and Emmanuel Ocho, Robert Griffin III. I mean, we have some of the dumbest analysts. I was like, how do these guys get hired? Mark Sanchez on the NFL. I'm like, oh my God, kill me. But these guys, yeah, I mean, the boots they're aggressive. Those are scoop friendly. I mean, those things are like mid thigh. That is aggressive right there. She's down for the Buckeyes. I'm telling you. Yeah, but she has to deal with Booger McFarland. I'd have boots up to my nose, I think. At least this year, I don't think JJ is going anywhere. JJ is going to get probably 150 targets next year because he is going to be the offense. We're going to lose our 2 running backs, and him and Julian Sand are going to be best friends when he's playing quarterback next year. So JJ is one of the greatest kids in the history of the program, just from a temperament, a perspective. He came up here to get developed. He's getting developed. I mean, he's going to break every freshman record known to man. I think he's had the best freshman season we've ever seen, maybe outside of Maurice's. So he's not going anywhere, and he loves it here, and he's getting paid a lot of money, and he's got 2 more years after this one, and he's going to be a top 5 pick, probably top 3 pick, and away we go. Nevada, do you have any concerns about JJ taking off?
No. I mean, JJ's got his eye on the prize of, $500 million in potential earnings in the NFL, and it's all about development. And that's even if he wasn't getting fed. I mean, but he scored like the first 7 games, the first time anybody's ever done that. So he's seeing plenty of action and getting developed by the best wide receiver whisperer in the world and Brian Hartline, and playing with Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. So no concerns about him going elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape, Lisa. And again, he is one of the greatest kids you ever met. And all he wants to do is work and play football. He doesn't club. He doesn't go out. He doesn't party. He doesn't kick it. All he does is work out, lift, and eat right and run routes. I mean, he's like literally like a robot, like an Elon Musk robot that he built. Sean, thanks for the deuce. McElroy and Booger are insufferable. They're really bad. I mean, it's just like the talent drain of ESPN is something that should be studied, because it's so bad now. I mean, because again, ESPN doesn't pay any of these guys, so they all end up leaving and going to Fox. That's why all the big talent, even like Bear from College Game Day, left and went to Fox. It's hilarious. Cowherd, they all jump ship and go to Fox because nobody goes from Fox to ESPN. Everybody goes from ESPN to Fox because ESPN's just a talent drain. And again, it's really bad. It's painful to listen to. Nevada, your thoughts? Greg McElroy and Booger are insufferable. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Booger is the worst. I mean, the reason he's around there is probably because he's willing to work for minimum wage or whatever it is. So, like, they fired all the high-priced talent, and they kept just like the D- guys. But Booger is the worst of the worst, just because he's just dumb. I mean, dumb, and I just dumb, dumb, and has nothing original to say. Not funny. Not interesting, not introspective. Nothing about him is appealing. But he will work for free on ESPN or for cheap, and that makes him very appealing.
Agree. All right, Nevada, let's wrap this thing up. Any final thoughts?
No, just I'm number 2 in the country. You look back on that night in Outson, we lose, and all hope is lost, and now we're sitting. The first playoff thing comes out, and we're number 2. Man. OSU is getting the respect, getting the team together, starting to build, got a couple of weeks here where we kind of grind through Purdue and Northwestern, and then get it up for Indiana and Michigan. I love the way that things are building right now. I love the way this team's coming together. So could not be more excited, and I love where we're positioned right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Appreciate you guys. I know this is a big night tonight. I know a lot of you guys are dying to go check out the election coverage, so we're going to let you guys go. Again, great show tonight. Thank you guys for taking care of our veterans and all the people that support us with Pay It Forward. Thank you so much for that. If you guys want to help us out in a big way, please give us a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's super easy to do. You can do it on your iPhone, about 2 seconds. I'd really appreciate it. With that being said, appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you guys for all that you guys do. Again, this is a huge show because you guys make it one. We got a big night tonight, so I'm excited about it. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. See you at 7 p.m. Go Bucks.